GreenTeaGuru.co.uk offers green tea, white tea, black tea, oolong tea, and we absolutely love pu'er tea, with offerings of Misty Peaks, Yunnan sourcing, Munghai, and Shaguan. We regularly visit Hong Kong and Guangdong, sourcing out very interesting and special cakes for your tea table. Green Tea Guru, based in UK with worldwide delivery. Hey guys, hello again and welcome. It's Ollie from greenteaguru.co.uk. Today we're taking a closer look at artisan pure bud black tea from Simeo in Yunnan. Now this is a very interesting black tea. It's one that's character is continually reshaping itself over the time that we have it. We're going to be looking closer today about different brewing parameters for black tea. My favourite method of brewing black tea is very simply start off at low 5, 6, 7 infusions and work up. But there's a new method out in town, starting with a long 20-second infusion and then subsequent 5-second infusions. We're going to taste the difference of these two methods and see what happens.
Let's do this!
I'm using 90 C water. As always, chuck the first infusion.
So we get on the nose.
Really smoky, actually. Really complex. Smoky, toasty. We're going to do the same with the other tea as well. Hopefully you can see how dark that is. You know what, after taking that advice and going with the first 20-second infusion, I was expecting it to be very strong, very bitter. I mean, the liquor came out very dark. I was a bit scared. But I tell you what, it just tasted full-flavoured. A full-flavoured infusion that I would normally expect maybe the third infusion. It was really deep. The texture was fairly viscous, but for a first infusion, not bitter whatsoever. Good so far. Yeah. Yeah, it's I'll tell you what's coming through a little bit more. It's a bit more bright flavoured, where the last one, of course, was more deep. It's still got that deep complexity. It's not as viscous, which is quite obvious it wouldn't be. But the flavours taste a little bit more bright, and actually, I can taste maybe a little bit more tannins on this one, which I find really odd, because the last one had sort of zero tannins, how it felt anyway. I don't know whether it's more bright flavoured or just more tannins, slight tannins. It isn't bitter at all, but you've got that. It's almost sweetness, but it isn't. At the back of the gullet, at the back of the palate there. I'm trying to stretch my mind as to what it is, because it's not bitterness. It's not really tannins either. Yeah, it's bright, more of a bright flavour. Anyway, round 2. Now, every subsequent infusion after the first should be straight 5, 6, 7 seconds, something like that. The idea, if I believe it correctly, is that the taste that I got in the initial infusion should be the same throughout the rest. So effectively you're waking up the tea sharply with one long infusion. The subsequent infusions should be on the same sort of parallels. So let's see what happens. This is, again, 90 seawater. That's how I brew my black tea. Where the first infusion was, it felt as if that was everything the tea had to give. You know, all in one hit. That's kind of what it feels like. The second infusion is still deep, and it's still deeper than the 5-second infusion tea that the way I normally brew my tea. It's still deeper. It has lost some of that oomph. I mean, it felt like the first infusion, the whole oomph was in that one infusion, and now it's really coming down fast. I mean, this is only the second infusion, but still very viscous, which is interesting. Still a very good infusion. Very nice, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Colour's definitely deeper. Slight more tannins, actually. So compared to the first infusion, it was a lot brighter. There are more tannins in this one. In fact, I'd say that out of all the infusions I've had so far, this has probably got the most tannins. Still not bad, just tannin plenty. If you like it, it's fine. Quite fiery, actually. By this, this tea's nature is very fiery. In fact, this is probably 2.5 years old now, 3 years. Over the course of its that I've had it, it has changed character very wildly. It was very fiery, some kind of cinnamon notes to start off with, and now it's really trying to settle down a bit. The character is still there, it's just sort of maturing, it's settling down. So far, if you're going to ask me my favourite, we're not far in yet, because I kind of like to string my teas out over many infusions, that's how I like it. But I do have to say, the normal way I brew my tea, which is the 5 seconds raising up, the tannins are coming through on the second infusion, and very slight astringency building up. not overbearing whatsoever. I think it's really down to personal preference, but I really do think that the idea of doing a very long steep at the beginning with this particular tea, and most likely a lot or very many other black teas, it's got some legs. It's a good idea. See what the third infusion's going to do with this one. I've got a feeling it's really going to come down a bit in flavour. So, you know, if you like to string out your tea over many infusions and you like the lighter sort of tea flavours, you might want to string it out. If you are really searching for that, the oomph of the maximum that any tea can give, I would definitely look at, with black teas anyway, looking at doing this. What is apparent in the normal way I brew my teas, the 5-second infusions, is its fiery nature is more prevalent this way than the 20-second infusion tea. It is a bit more fiery, but then, you know, to balance it all out, the tannins are coming through a lot more as well, which is really strange. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it the other way around. I thought that the 20-second infusion tea was going to throw so much tannins at me, but it's not. It's just throwing full flavour without any bad points so far. But let's see what infusion 3 has to show. Okay, guys. So I've just poured out infusion number 3 of the 20-second infusion tea. And I've got to say, by the colour, I haven't tasted it yet, by the colour, it looks like this tea's never going to stop. And you can see there how rich that is. It's like, as soon as you pour the water in the Gaiwan, it's just, black tea! It's almost saying, come on, I don't even need infusing, just pour me out now. Okay. Well, the huge round flavour is tapering off. The consistency, though, is still very viscous. Yeah. So, when this tea started, it just, the first infusion was just everything. It really was. It was the best infusion. Now that, I mean, you know, the texture's still there, but the backlining flavour is tapering off, and, you know, foreseen really, but still my favourite infusion from this tea was the first one. But still pushing through. It's still pushing through. Tannin wise, not really. Not really. So that, you know, if you're scared of bitterness with the black teas, this is probably a way to go. You know, bag loads of flavour, low tannins. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, guys. So I'm now pouring out the third infusion for my standard method of brewing black tea. So this is normally my favourite infusion. Instead of having all the flavour and everything in one big burst, as we're experiencing with the 20-second infusion tea, this is really running up to its masterpiece, which should be the third infusion. Colour's looking great. Very nice and deep. Let's see how it goes. So, it is a very fiery tea, this one, and this is a characteristic that isn't shown very well in the 20-second infusion tea. The fieriness doesn't really come through. It's more of a sort of more in-depth flavour and viscosity, where brewing it the standard way, it's bright. It's bright. It's got that sort of weird sort of tannin stroke sweet line coming down here at the back of my palate. And the fiery kind of, it's not cinnamon, it isn't cinnamon, but a sort of fiery nature that is much more apparent brewing it this way. So, yeah, it's it's horses for courses. I'm really glad that I found out about this method of brewing black tea, because it shows that tea really isn't one-dimensional. There are so many ways to explore tea and different parameters, and this is just one of them. And it really is down to personal preference. So explore your tea. If you really love a tea, look at brewing it in a different way. You might experience different flavors that you hadn't have thought of. Another take on it is, I'm really into my music, and you can hear one song through one set of speakers, and you can hear it through those speakers for years, and you love that song. But then, for example, in your earbuds or something, but then you hear that song being played in a car with different speakers. You can hear different parts of the song that you've probably never heard before. Does that make sense? Have you ever experienced that? It's kind of like that with tea. So you can experience different flavors through different temperatures, different infusion times, and different vessels as well. Because brewing a tea through porcelain, glass, or maybe clay will give you slight different nuances and flavors. So you just got to explore and take a look. I want to thank Sockbert for putting me onto this video. This is a video that I want to do for some time, actually. So I really hope I've answered your questions and helped you guys learn more about this great tea. You can buy this tea and many more from greenteaguru.co.uk. Until next time, happy cupping.